Hi, today I want to show you a new DaDaBIK demo, an inventory and sales management application. You can try it online, but you can also install it as a template on your own server, hosting, or even locally on your computer. If this is your first time here, DaDaBIK is a no-code, low-code platform for building web applications, typically internal tools. You can build applications using a traditional no-code, low-code approach or use AI to create and modify them. I'm Eugenio Tacchini, I'm the founder of DaDaBIK, and I also work in academia teaching databases and data science. Alright, after this short presentation, let's start. Visit dadabik.com/demo/inventory. This is a landing page introducing the application, but let's go directly to the live demo and click Try the live demo. Here we have the login page. I'll log in as administrator using username admin, password DaDaBIK. And here we are. The first page is a beautiful dashboard, but we'll come back to it later. On the left, you can see the main sections of the application. Products, stock movements, and so on and so forth. Let's open products and start from here. But first, let me give you some context. This demo represents a B2B office supplies company. The company buys products from suppliers, keeps them in stock, sells them to business customers, and schedules their deliveries. This is a secure, multi-user web application. By secure, I don't simply mean that there is a login page and that you can define granular permissions for each user role. Of course, you can do that. But I also mean that in DaDaBIK's no-code environment, the core application logic is already defined and tested. As a developer, you work within predefined paths and guardrails for the operations you want to implement. This means fewer errors, greater security, and much more predictable behavior than an application generated from scratch by AI. Let's go back to the application now. For each product, we store information such as its name, category, image, and others. As you see, we have a barcode generation feature, which is particularly useful for an inventory app. The product list can be, of course, searched, filtered, exported. You can do the classic CRUD operations. If I open a product, I can see its complete record and below it, all the related inventory movements. So incoming stock movements are entered here, directly from the relevant product. For example, I can register a new incoming shipment, select the supplier, enter the quantity and date, and save. The current stock quantity is then recalculated automatically. We have also an all movements page. This page is intentionally read-only and provides a complete overview of all inventory activity. As you can see, we have about 9,000 movements here. I want to mention that we tested the application with 1 million movements and there was no perceptible lag. Now, let's look at sales. Here we have the invoices section. An invoice contains the customer, invoice date, delivery date, and other information. Each invoice can, of course, contain multiple invoice items. When an invoice item is added, the app automatically creates the corresponding outgoing stock movement and updates, again automatically, the available quantity of the product. Let's make an example. Let's add another row to this invoice. Alright, let's move to the corresponding products now. And as you can see, we have the out movement generated by our invoice item, and the quantity has been updated. So 2 items have been subtracted to the quantity. The delivery date and delivery method that you see in the invoice are then used in the delivery calendar. So let's move to this calendar now. The calendar provides a clear operational view of upcoming deliveries. And so for each day, I know the planned deliveries. And at any time, I can double click on an item and see the corresponding invoice. You have different views: month, week, days, and list. And finally, let me tell you that the different colors represent the different delivery methods: company delivery, customer pickup, and courier. Now that we have seen the main workflows, let's return to the dashboard. At the top, we have 4 key indicators: revenue this month, invoices this month, average invoice value, and the number of low stock products. Below, we can see 2 charts: sales by month and the potential retail value of the current inventory, grouped by product category. All these indicators and charts are generated directly from the application database and are automatically regenerated with the current data every time you open the page. The demo also includes DaDaBrain AI. DaDaBrain AI allows users to ask natural language questions about the application data without writing SQL. DaDaBIK then translates the question into a database query and returns the result. Let's make some example. For example, which customer generated the most revenue? Let's wait a bit. And here is the result. Okay, let me make another example. For example, show the products below their reorder point. Let's wait a bit. All right. So in this case, as answer, we got a view. We can open the view and see the products below their reorder point with their related data. Okay. And also, this kind of questions are stored in the application. Of course, each user can see only their own question. So at any time, you can go back to your question and see the answer. That again, even in this case, is automatically regenerated according to the current version of the database. All right, let's talk about users and groups now. This demo has 2 simplified user profiles, or user groups if you prefer. The administrators, first group, can work with the application data, manage users and groups, and access the development area through this button, Edit this app. The operations users, instead, can work with the business data but cannot access application configuration or user management. In a real application, permissions can be much more granular and complex. You can have many user groups, for each group many users, and set granular permissions regarding tables, fields, operations, and also records. You can say, for example, that the users belonging to a particular group cannot edit the price of the products, for example, and can only see, I don't know, the French customers from the customers table. Okay, now I want to show you something about the development area, dev area. So, what if you want to modify the application? Well, you click Edit this app. You can do it only as administrator. This opens the DaDaBIK dev area. From here, we can modify fields, forms, data grids, relationships, labels, validation rules, dashboards, and much more using a visual configurator. Let me show a few things. For example, from the menu page, we can rearrange our menu items. Let's do it. And let's go back to the application. Here we go. We have an updated menu. The form configurator allows us to configure forms. For example, let's work on the customers form, and in particular on the name field. I can change the label. I can change the field type. For example, let's say I want to use a text area field type. I can add some hint text close to the field. I can change the title of the section. I can do many things. These are just examples. Let's save and let's go back to the app. Here we go. The form is updated. Okay. Layout. Well, here you can change logo, colors, fonts, custom CSS, and much more. Permissions. Here we set the data and operation permissions. For example, let's say that we don't want to grant the delete permission on products to the administrators. Okay, so we remove the delete permission for this user group, save, we come back to the application, here we go, the delete button is gone. Another example, let's remove a column from the results grid, for example, quantity. We want to remove quantity from here and keep it in the form. All right, let's do it. So I set this to no, save, and now back to the application. Here we go. The quantity column is gone, but you know, it's still in the products form. All right, last part of the video. We said that this demo is also available as an installable prepackaged application. You can install it with DaDaBIK, replace the sample data, and use it as the starting point for your own inventory and sales management system that you can freely customize. Let's see how it works. You need to get the software first, and to do that you can download the DaDaBIK free trial, no credit card required, from here, and then you start a free trial. The other option you have is to purchase a DaDaBIK lifetime license. After downloading, you have to install the software, launching the installation script. Here I'm installing it on my own computer, but you can install it on your hosting, on your cloud, I don't know, Amazon AWS, wherever you want. It's self-hosted. There are currently 4 prepackaged apps. I choose the inventory app. Let's then follow the instructions, and here we go. Software installed. Let's try to log in, and okay. I have exactly the same application on my computer, but now I have even more freedom. There are features that are disabled in the online demo which are enabled here. For example, I can modify the database structure. Let's say I need an additional picture field for products. So picture 1 and picture 2. I open the dev area, then I move to data, and I add a picture 2 field. I come back to the application, and as you can see, we now have an additional field. And I can upload an additional picture here. Here we go. Okay. All right. Another additional feature you have in the self-hosting version, you can import data into your existing tables from Excel or CSV. What else? Well, you can add your own PHP and JavaScript code, if you need it, to handle complex logic and integration with your information system. These are just some examples, but there is much more to explore. Now, let me tell you something about data vendor lock-in. First of all, because DaDaBIK is self-hosted, the application runs on infrastructure you control and works directly with your SQL database. So your business data is not stored inside a proprietary cloud-only platform. This way, you can avoid data vendor lock-in. Let me show what we have behind the scene. The data I see here as customers is exactly the same data I can see in the related MySQL database. So DaDaBIK, just to say that DaDaBIK is just an application layer on the top of this database, and by default it does not modify the schema of your tables. Alright, that's it for today. Again, you can try the live demo at dadabik.com/demo/inventory, and from the same page you can download the free trial and install the template. No credit card required. If you need help for the installation, leave a comment here. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Ciao!